Okay, what is up? Okay, this is going a guide for tanks. The double tank, the stone split, going with the Thundercry blade and the Stormbreaker spear. Okay, to start off the build, this is mainly going to be a PvE as well as a GBG build as what I use. For PvP and GBG, the only difference on my Mystic skills is I swap out, well, GBG, I swap out my Cloud Steps for the Flute. Other than that, the build is going to remain the same. So I'm using Dragon's Breath, Soaring Spin, this gets through people's shields, Talon Strike in case you run up against another tank, and then the Gap Closer with Cloud Steps. So Cloud Steps, Soaring Spin, and Talon Strike, those three can be used as chase skills. You keep the Dragon's Breath on there for Flame, the debuff. Every build needs Serene Breeze, so we have Serene Breeze. Leaping Toad is very useful. I use Leaping Toad after you hit somebody with an execution, pop Leaping Toad, and then they're basically going to die. Golden Body I keep on here. I mainly use it for GVG, 1v1 PvP. It can be swapped out if you would like. Same with Lion's Roar, but Lion's Roar is mainly my GVG skill, but I typically just keep these together. So those would be the Mystic skills. Now moving on from Mystic skills, we're going to go over to talents. So your talents, very important at this point in the game. You can get an abundance of talents. Very important that you complete all the story missions, side missions, or everything to get as much gear, as much power out of these. So you need to max out your talents. That one should be pretty self-explanatory. The next thing is I'm going to go over to the map here, and the three people that you really need are the oddities vendors. So you have the one in Kaifeng, the one in Qinghe, and the one all the way over in Hexy. And you want to max or get these as possible. Collecting your oddities as well. That will eliminate any of the, as much as the RNG as possible. So going back into our develop menu, we're going to go over to gear now. Now, gear's more RNG, but it's still important to fill out the gear. So first thing we need to do is eliminate anything that is RNG to do with gear, even though it is difficult. So you want to make sure that your enhanced average level is as high as possible. Right now, the season peak is at 45, and I am currently at 45. So you want all of your armor at 45. Armor and weapons at 45. Get whatever materials you need, whatever silver or money that you need, the way you can increase that, right? Cool. So then we're going to go into our arsenal. So your arsenal is very important because it also gives you HP. HP with tanks equals DPS. The type of tank that we're building the isn't the 100% different tank thing. I personally don't like that build. This is the survivability tank that can more support in GBG. If you are good, you can also kick people's butt in PvP, as well as you do decent damage in sword trials, boss raids. So step one is to make sure you get your total mastery out of all of these. So from your 41 arsenal, you want to max out as high as you can. Through new leveling, you should be trying to get high rolls as minimum gold, just to at least put them in here. So that's what we're targeting. So now here's the important part: going over to our inner ways. The inner ways that I use is number 2 of these are non-negotiable ever. You need moral chant. You need tier 6 moral chant. You need exquisite scenery. And then Art of Resistance. A lot of people try to swap this out. I prefer to have Art of Resistance. And then Trapped Beast. This is key for surviving. When you're about to die, it'll pop. And if you get it to T6, its cooldown is very low. And if you're pretty good at doing what you do, you never really have to worry about it. I do not like Rock Solid. To me, he uses the Stormbreaker Spear. And the Stormbreaker Spear's roar, you really only want to pop it. I don't feel like you get enough out of this. You know what I mean? So use all of your tips exchanges to get these for if you are following my build. This is what you want. You want Moral Chant, Exquisite Scenery, Trap Beast, and Art of Resistance. Okay, so on to our next thing. So we're going to go over to the details page, and we're going to go here. We're going to take a look. So you really, when you're increasing your gear, the things you really want are, if you can get it, body, power. Power's really good. Defense you'll get based on your HP, but that's fine. You don't really have to worry about physical defense. We're a tank. Agility doesn't matter as much because with all the rolls, we're just mainly going to prioritize other things. I'll show you. So if you take a look, my max HP right now is 14,5053, and this is without buffs. Your key is at 100. My physical attack is 982, maxes out at 1856. And here's where this comes into play. So what we're trying to go for is you need your precision rate at 100. Has to be non-negotiable, 100%. Your crit rate can be about 70%. Mine is sitting at 92.2%. After 80%, I think it drops off. And what you want to try to aim for is direct crit rate, because direct crit rate can stack on top of crit rate. And then my affinity rate is, this is something else you can kind of passively have, but the main two you want are precision rate, crit rate, and then direct crit rate. Those are the main three that you want. And then any resistances that you can build, you'll probably build naturally. So as well as crit damage bonuses, that's where RG comes in. So if we go over to the gear, and they give us a lot of time, so you can min-max. A lot of people don't like min-maxing. You know, the energy system is tough. It is what it is, but that's neither here nor there. Play with your friends. If you run missions with your guild, that's like 10 boxes there. You do the sword trials and you do everything. There you could get plenty of boxes, and I would suggest only using gold to rainbow color to get gold attunements. That way you get max. So as you see on my weapon here, I am doing my best to get the best rolls possible. So if we go here, we're looking at minimum stone split, minimum physical attack, crit rate, precision rate, physical resistance. I mean, on the weapons and armors, I just kind of, on the weapons, I just kind of leave it. But what's really important when you are re-rolling on these things is over here on the armor. Because for this build, what we are mainly going to do is that final stat. We're trying to get all 4 of these to have the Thundercry Blade charge skill damage boost. Because this build of charged Mo Blade and counters. And I'll show you that when we use Dow Lord here. And we kill the Dow Lord and we use them as my test dummy to show you the damage. Right? So I prefer to use Rain Whisper because, look, it increases crit damage. So we need the 4 Rain Whisper set over here. And then I like to use the Moonflare set, because when you read that, it says when attacking while defending, this is going to be your counter. You know, absorbs up to 10% max of the HP shield, and then as well as lasting 20 seconds if the shield already exists to restore HP in addition. This can only trigger once every 60 seconds, but it's pretty good for us. And it gives HP on top of that. So, you know, as you see, I try to ensure that all my rolls are gold. Try my best to get them there, and then we're going for that. So how does this all actually play in a fight? So in an actual fight in Dow Lord here, we're going to open up with our gun. So being this type of tank, you mainly are going to you got the HP, you got the revival force, and you have the trapped beast. So for bosses, basically you can open up like this. So you can start with your Stormbreaker spear, this is the only time you really want this out is for a buff. That's it. You don't want to be really fighting with it too much. And the buff is your LTX. So I don't know, L2 square on console. I'm on PC running an Xbox controller, actually using the ROG Ally. So, um, so when we're going to engage, I'm going to use that. It's going to give me my buff. I'm going to go over here, and then I block. I got my counter. And as you can see, Downlord is already in its next phase. I can absorb, hold down the charge because we're getting all of our damage from charge. If you're looking, we're getting all crits. So if you take a look, we have a bunch of Downlord's already basically dead if it wasn't for the mechanic, right? So we're gonna go here. That looks like that bugged out. And we're gonna rebuff. And we're gonna wait for Downlord to pop up. And our little flame. So know which one I've marked and which one I haven't. She's gonna do the mechanic again. Or not. And then we just do the sucker. But as you can see, all of our damage comes from the charge. That's our damage, the charge. So that is basically my build, what I'm building, or how I build up my character. It's basically the block counter, wisely, hold down, all your damage comes from charge, and then remember when you key break, you can do that smash 3 times. And that does insane amount of damage with your crit, and with Moral Chant, you'll be getting ridiculous damage. So that's all, guys, from me. That's how I build my tank. Let me know in the comments if you're going to build your tank the same way, or any thoughts, ideas, or suggestions. Let me know. This has been Varigod Taj. Peace.